Hello and welcome to True Crime Guys Podcast. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Michael.
We're back.
We are, after 2 weeks.
Yeah, back. It was a nice break.
Didn't we take a break after the Patreon episode?
Yeah, we did. So it's been a couple weeks if you're a regular listener.
Wow, you guys are probably all left by now.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think we've been getting tweets and stuff that...
People come back.
They make, baby, come back.
Yeah, we're putting out an episode now, and it's a highly suggested one this week.
Highly suggested, and one thing I thought about was that with the regular episodes, we keep doing lesser known ones, which people love.
Yeah.
But if you're not a Patreon person, you haven't been getting like the big name, like high caliber cases, the ones that a lot of people like to speculate about.
Right, the Hall of Famers we like to call them.
Yeah, so we decided it's time to do a big name one for a regular episode again.
Right.
And this one was a lot of fun to study. I like the time period and all that stuff. There's a lot of speculation. Mm-hmm. You know, we love that because there's a lot of fucking contradictory stuff out there on this person.
Kind of like the Panzram case.
Yeah.
I think
even more so, though, I think.
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah.
But, yeah, let's get into it.
All right, let's do it.
Tender years is touched by evil and kindles fears.
A dark-haired beauty of tender years is touched by evil and kindles fears. A malignant force runs through her veins, a soulless shell as blood she reigns. Fair servant girls she does enslave, tortured and bled in ways depraved. In her huge castle of broken mirrors, where screams are concealed in its terrors, her accursed desire stirs every day, as drinking blood lets her outstay. Old skin renewed in the bloody baths, the innocent saturated by her wrath. A poem by T. James Becker.
All right, our case this week, none other than Elizabeth Bathory, the Blood Countess, a.k.a. the Hungarian whore.
Yeah, and
that had to have been coined by like an angry mother of someone who was a victim of hers.
Yeah, probably.
Because that's rough in the
rough for those times.
1600s. I'd imagine that calling someone a Hungarian whore. There's a lot of vitriol behind that. A lot of
you
anger.
Hungarian whore.
Right. A lot of emphasis
I
on
will
the
slander
whore.
your name all over the town.
Right. Can you say whore in Hungarian anyway? Like they have very weird accents.
I think you got to get a little phlegm in it. Whore.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because I listened to a book called The Countess, a novel of the notorious Elizabeth Bathory by Rebecca Johns, and it's basically historical fiction, but it's got a lot of facts in it.
That's what we base this podcast on.
It's like it's her version. Well, yeah. Honestly, when I first read it, I thought the entire time that I had no idea it was fiction. So I'm thinking like, God damn, this thing's got a lot of detail.
This is a lot of stuff I didn't even know happened.
Because there were writings that they have of her from later on, like letters and such. So I thought this was an accumulation.
But those letters were so boring.
Yeah, well,
they were so boring. They were just like, you did not bring us enough tea bags this week. If you could please bring double the amount next week, or we will be beheaded.
You will be put in my Iron Maiden if you do not.
Right.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's the book that I listened to, and it was a lot of strange Hungarian accent. I don't want to call it strange. It's just different. It's strange to me.
It's not strange for Hungary.
Strange to me, but like instead of Bathory, it's Bathory, and there's no th. It's always duh. You know, no th, duh. And then what is the other one? It's V's instead of W's, so it's like the dead girls said to be a V.
They basically sound like every stereotypical vampire character.
Yeah, Dracula. Picture Dracula. She was, there's also talk that maybe that was the inspiration for the Dracula story was her and not actually
Not Vlad the Impaler?
Not Vlad the Impaler, so. But we'll get into it. This is a super entertaining story, though. It's just fascinating. I just love reading this far back into history and like imagining living during this time.
I like to. I'm so glad
you like
I
to
don't
imagine
live in this time.
You're like, what would I do? Like,
It's a horrible time to live, dude. Nobody wants to go back to that. If I built a time machine, I would put a safety switch in there where it would never go back to that time period.
Right? You realize how far we've come as a species to like think about if you're born now, everybody has a chance at least. We all start at different points.
Yeah.
You know, no one starts at the same starting point on the race, but
That's right.
At least now, just about everybody has a chance. But if you're a peasant born back then, if you were born to a non-noble family,
just because
you're
who you're
fucked.
born
No
to.
matter what you do, you're fucked.
Even if you're half peasant.
Right. Right. Mudblood.
Yeah. Even if
mudblood.
you're a mudblood especially.
Right.
Listen, if
Filthy
if your parents aren't cousins and they're royalty, you're
Right.
fucked. So
Yeah. So
your eyes are too far apart. Fuck you, man.
unless you're noble, then they'll just make excuses.
Oh, right.
So let's talk a little bit about it. Elizabeth Bathory is who we're talking about. She was born on the 7th of August in 1560 in the Kingdom of Hungary. Her birth date she shares with Charlize Theron, which I feel like could have played her in an actual decent remaking of her life. Not what there is out there, because there's not decent movies made on this.
Right. Didn't she play Ali Mornos?
Sure. Yeah, she did.
She did.
But she could also play this.
Maybe she doesn't want to play all the serial killers, you know?
She should. She did a great
She did
job.
kind of a bad rap.
She did a great job in Monster. I could see her
That's true. She
playing
did.
this.
Oh, yeah. she
Bathing in
could.
blood and shit. Be awesome.
Yeah.
Be kind of hot.
For sure. Drew Barrymore could probably do it. She's got that new show on Netflix where she's like a zombie. She's like eating people's necks and shit.
Really?
Like her and her husband like plot to kill people.
That's cool.
Yeah, my wife was watching it the other night. I was like, wait, what the fuck just happened? Because it looks like you're watching like a show like Modern Family, but like more serious. And then all of a sudden, like,
Takes a weird turn.
yeah, she like jumps on this dude's back, starts stabbing him and biting his neck.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Laugh track kicks in.
It's like it's like I guess it's a comedy,
Right.
kinda.
All right, let's get back to the story. Her parents were Baron George Bathory and Baroness Anna Bathory. Now,
They
there's
related.
a lot of inbreeding going on. Everybody seems to be her cousin. Her parents were related down the line.
Now, Lauren, these are two completely different lines of Bathory that happen to live in the exact same area.
yeah,
okay?
in the 1500s in
Yeah.
the Hungarian area.
Right.
A lot of different
Happen to
Bathories.
both be royalty too.
Right.
Okay.
Sorry, I was a
Don't
really
jump to
ignorant
conclusions.
comment. Yeah.
It was.
The Bathory family was rich and powerful, pretty much just about as much as it gets. They were noble aristocrats. They had more money than the King of Hungary himself.
Yeah.
Her family
Heard
did.
they make the Rockefellers look like some punks.
They did. And their family members, just to go through a few of them. Her cousin Stephen became Prince of Transylvania in 1571 and was later elected King of Poland. Her older brother Stephen would become a Judge Royal of Hungary, even though he was kind of a piece of shit. It seemed like he was an alcoholic and a disappointment, but it didn't matter at that point.
Who cares?
You got all
It's
the
royalty.
connections.
You do whatever you want.
Right. She was raised Protestant Calvinist, an offshoot of Lutheranism, which was really popular during that time.
That old religion.
Yeah. Now, her homeland of Hungary was at constant war during this time.
Very rough time to grow
For
up.
centuries, pretty much. They were ruled by Austria to their west, and they were in perpetual war with the Ottoman Turks to the south.
Right.
Mainly over religion differences.
What else, right?
You had the Western Christian world in Europe, and then you had the Muslim world.
Well, the Christians at this time kind of just wanted to be left alone, didn't they?
Yeah.
I mean, they were...
They for a long time they were pushing their way into
Yeah.
the Muslim world and trying
Right.
to take as much land as they could, but then it's like
Now they're
they
like,
ran
okay,
into-
we got enough, so if you guys could just leave us alone
Yeah.
and forget our trespasses.
right. We took enough of your land. We're happy with this.
We're happy with
Just
it.
stop fighting us now.
I think we can set
we're
up
a little,
shop here.
We're a little broke at the moment. If you could stop fighting us, please.
Apparently they're New Yorkers now, thanks to me.
Right.
Sorry.
Now we mentioned how her family was. It's the noble people during this time. There's a lot of inbreeding. It's families.
Right.
Powerful families screwing each other,
Well-
and even if it comes back to their own lineage,
Right. You can't
Didn't
breed
matter.
with peasants, and so eventually you run out of options, I think.
right. And so she was at a young age, around 4 and 5. She suffered from violent seizures, which may have been a side effect from the inbreeding that was going on.
Now, is this some frontal lobe stuff going on here? Is this like, could that be caused?
I don't know. I'm not a neurologist,
You
dude.
don't know? I think so.
But they're saying it could have been epilepsy from inbreeding. Some
Right.
kind of,
They associated a lot of that shit with like witchcraft then, though, didn't they?
oh yeah, everything. Any like
Anything that
any-
made you any
if
way
you're a little different, if you had one leg longer than the other, or like big ears, definitely a witch.
Right.
Big nose, definitely a witch.
Yeah.
Acne, definitely a witch.
Definitely.
Oof. Yep.
Yikes.
At about 6 years old, she may have witnessed her father killing a gypsy peasant who stole from him. This was in the book.
This is maybe more than just a maybe. Like this is in like
We did
everything.
hear this in
Over
several
and over
sources,
and
and I heard a
over.
very detailed version of it in the historical fiction book that I read.
Yeah.
It basically talked about her witnessing her father taking this peasant man and sewing him into the body of a cow, right? It was a cow?
That was a horse.
Or a
Yeah.
horse.
Apparently he stole a horse or something.
No, I don't think it was a horse.
Didn't he steal a horse?
I don't think so.
I'm pretty sure. I think that was the whole point. He had the horse in there. Like, why would he bring a horse in there? Like, I think I'm gonna sew his ass
that
in
was
there.
just a popular way of dealing with, like, a really...
Sewing people into horses was
Yes.
a popular thing.
Yes.
I don't think it was.
pretty
Lauren.
sure it was,
I
bro.
think he was just feeling extra creative that morning.
I don't think he just made that up that morning, dude.
That dude stole a fucking horse.
Okay, well, either way, that'd be
All right.
really ironic if he stole the horse and then he ended up
That is the
inside of
whole
it.
point.
Well, what did the horse do, though? Why did the horse have to die for that?
He shouldn't have went with him. You're fucking like 2,000 pounds. Don't you have a choice?
Right. So, anyways, her dad apparently cut this horse open, all of the entrails and all of the organs and everything spilling
Yeah.
out, and then
Yeah.
took this peasant gypsy man and sewed him into the horse. Was his head sticking out of like the
His
vagina
head
or
was-
something?
Oh, I don't know where.
His head was sticking out
His
somewhere.
head was sticking out somewhere.
Yeah,
There's actually drawings.
and he was
in
like
the-
pleading in the book. He was like pleading with Elizabeth, like,
Oh, it's rough.
"Please, I'll give you anything you want. Get me out of here."
Just-
and
you
in the
give me
book,
some
she was
water?
real cold. Like, I would never let you out of there.
Oh gosh.
You shouldn't have stole.
She was just a kid then, right?
Yeah, like we said, it's about 6 years old is what it. The
Wait, he talked to Elizabeth. You heard that for real?
Yeah, and this is a historical fiction book that I read.
Yeah.
But it seems like almost everything about this story is historical fiction in a sense. Like, we only have so much documentation of
You got to
stuff.
take it all with salt, yeah.
Right,
Like
even
a bag of salt.
We'll go into her kill count in the end, which is very questionable.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff's questionable at this whole story, but that's
Right.
what makes it fun. Like, just like
Yeah.
what's his name, Panzeram.
Oh, yeah, right.
Same thing. It's like, this is how much of this is true. We don't know.
We don't know.
One thing that was true was something called the Diet of Hungary. We'll go into a little bit of detail about this because it is kind of pertinent to this story. In 1492, the Diet limited all serfs, which were basically peasants during this time,
Right.
freedom of movement and greatly expanded their obligations, while at the same time only a few peasant families were prospering because of increased cattle exports to the west. Rural discontent boiled over, and in 1514, when well-armed peasants preparing for a crusade against the Turks rose up under Georgi Dorza, shocked by the peasant revolt. So basically what happened was the peasants were being armed by the Hungarians at this time to fight the Turks for them.
Not well, though.
No, well,
Not
no.
well at all.
They're
They weren't
being-
even feeding them properly.
Right.
dude.
Well, yeah, you got really hungry peasants who have been
yeah,
basically
really
slaves.
hungry.
Slaves
Peasants from Hungary.
Yeah, they've been
Yeah.
they've been slaves. I like what you did there with your
You
wordplay.
like
That was great.
You like that?
So you're arming your slaves who are treated like shit daily to go fight your enemies.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, they just take the arms that you gave them and turn on you, and they're like, "Why would we go fight for you
They're
and
like,
die
"Well,
when we could just fight you?
Wait a minute. We can just.
We're gonna die either way."
Yeah.
And so it kind of
Treating us like
backfired.
shit too.
Yeah, it backfired, and there was a big revolt around 1514. And after that, new laws came in after the revolt
Oh.
was overthrown. I guess they really wreaked havoc, thoe.
They did
These
it.
peasants like took down some castles.
Hell
They killed
yeah.
a bunch of noble people. It was ugly for a
It
while.
was living lavish.
I can picture him like with a beheaded king sitting
Yeah.
there, not a king, but
Sitting
like
there.
some noble.
Eating a pineapple on the end of a sword.
Very game. This whole thing is very Game of Thrones-ish.
It
This
is
shit was
very super bloody.
It's just be happy that you living in the time you're living in now. It's a very violent past to humans.
It really is. Like I was telling Lauren, I was like, just imagining being there and witnessing something crazy like this dude being sewn into a horse.
par
or-
for the course back then. It's like your
yeah,
cute television.
It's like normal stuff. But how do you yourself sit there and think that and be like, fuck, because this happens and everybody's okay with it, this could fucking happen to me.
right.
Like this could literally happen to me. Like that's a real possibility.
And yet they didn't
Like-
think like that. They just sat there and cheered it on.
Like three people.
that'll never
could-
be me.
Like three people could slander my name on like a deer cloth.
Right.
And the next thing I know, I'm fucking getting staked to death. You know, it's
Right.
like getting hammered down to my coffin.
Yep.
Crazy, man.
Ugh.
It's a crazy time.
Right. Hungary expected the peasants to fight the Turks with little food or training. They revolted, killing many nobles, destroying castles. So after that, the new laws rolled in, which basically like your family,
man.
for the eternity. This went on for like
Yeah.
300 years or some
300
shit.
years.
It
Their
wa-
descendants.
Their the peasants' descendants were property of
Yeah.
the family that they belonged to.
No rights
They had
whatsoever.
0 rights. This is important to note because Elizabeth Bathory would go on to kill many peasants, which we'll go into. But it begs the question: from her upbringing, this whole revolt happened well before her birth.
Yeah.
And so what she grew up knowing was that peasants were not lesser.
Evil.
They were
Yeah.
property to do with what you wanted to do with. Like,
Right.
if they stole, pretty much you could torture and kill them. That's kind of like the way things work.
And I think that's one of the strongest factors for this case actually being true.
Yeah.
Is the fact that peasants were so low. Like if this would have happened before the revolt,
Right.
this would have been a different story.
You can make the case this is more commonplace than it is strange. You
Right.
know,
And also,
how many nobles were killing their peasants if they got out of line? You know, it's
they probably all were. Like
yeah.
being a murderer was the normal thing to do.
Right.
Now killing 600 people
Yeah.
begs to be.
But that
you know.
question, or that number is even, like we said,
Right.
questionable.
Even that
We'll get
number
there.
is.
Guinness Book of World Records seems to
They
disagree.
take anybody. I'm gonna call them up and tell them some shit.
Right?
Be like, dude, I ate like 37 cheeseburgers just
Right.
a minute ago,
I can send you a picture of the rappers.
Yeah.
You gonna put me in the book or what?
and I haven't pooped in 3 weeks. So
There's
longest,
2 records right there.
slowest. Can't even think of
Slowest bowel movement of
Yeah,
all.
slowest bowel. Slowest digestion track of any human alive.
Right.
How are you gonna check it?
Yeah. Now, Elizabeth had a very abnormal, I don't know, I guess maybe not for a noble girl at this time, but abnormal for most people. Most young children don't learn 4 languages. At a young age, she learned Latin, German, Greek, and obviously Hungarian. She also studied in astronomy and philosophy, very well educated, took advantage of what was given to her as far as the opportunities to
Right.
learn stuff. At 11 or 12 years old, her parents set up an arranged marriage, very common for this time as well. For her new fiance was Fernik Nadesti, very powerful family in the Hungarian area as well. He was 16 years old at this time. They were also cousins.
Well, that's convenient.
That's to be expected.
Well, she's probably seen him around some family reunions and stuff, so
Right.
they already kind of knew each other. So it made for an easy transition to
Yeah.
marriage.
Now, they weren't both necessarily receptive at the beginning,
Oh, well then never mind.
but they're told.
Just totally contradicted everything I said. It's okay. It was all bullshit anyway. They know. They
Yeah.
know my tone. They know my tone by now. If you're a new listener, that's my tone. That means things I'm saying are not real.
And it means things that Mike says Lauren doesn't listen to. So that's what it means.
Also that.
Yeah.
So we actually talk to each other. We talk to ourselves separately, and then we just lay the tracks
He
over
thinks
each
I'm
other.
looking at him, but I'm staring at the wall behind him.
Look at that squirrel over there.
No, but the book I read and a lot of stuff I heard through the difference, we looked at, we had 2 weeks to study this one. So if anything, maybe our brain is flooded with too much shit.
It did make it difficult.
Too much shit. Like,
Yeah.
we don't know what to believe, you know?
I started getting to where, like, if I got 3 sources that said something, I was like, all right, I'll put
Feel
that
pretty
one.
good. Feel pretty good about it,
Yeah,
right?
I'll put that one in stone.
A couple of the sources I read into said that she wanted his attention at first, not Fernik. She found him handsome and whatnot, but he was disinterested. And it's not too much of a far stretch to believe he was 16 years old. She's 11 at the time that they're set up, and maybe it says something about him that it wasn't interested in an 11-year-old girl. It'd probably be a good thing
Yeah,
if you're 16, but at the time it was more acceptable.
yeah. That's so weird.
But he would
crazy.
just pretty much ignore her for the first couple of years while they were engaged, awaiting marriage. And he knew that they both knew that it was for the best of their families, and that both of their families were not taking no for an answer as far as this is best moving forward for the noble families,
Right.
the Nadestis, and for the Bathorys to join here and keep the power and riches going. Awaiting the marriage, Elizabeth ended up getting this. Speaks to what I was talking about, though, right here. Awaiting the marriage, during the few years that they were engaged, Elizabeth got pregnant from one of Faranik's underlings.
Right.
I think it was like a cousin of his. I don't know. Everybody's cousins.
But this person was a peasant, though, right?
I don't think so. No, see,
Oh,
I
was
that
under
I
the
think is
impression that there-
misinformation.
Okay,
That is
okay.
seems to be out there that she got knocked up by some. I heard she got raped by a peasant person,
Yeah.
and then she had gave the baby. She did give the baby away, from what I heard.
Yeah.
However,
I heard that as well, but I
she
heard
chose to have, because she was being ignored by her fiance.
Yeah.
I think what happened
Oh,
was
you
she
think she did the
hooked up
shadows
with
fight?
his cousin or something.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Doing
and
some Real Housewife shit.
got
over here.
knocked up. And then in the book I read, she got taken away to some secret castle by her mother.
You know what? She is the Hungarian whore. That bitch.
You're engaged, and you're 12. Or no, at the time she got pregnant, I think she was a few years older. I think
She was at least 13.
Yeah.
No, she was really 13, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, she ended up having a daughter and giving the baby away and never saw the baby again.
Damn, that's gotta be rough. Maybe not in those times. It's different.
Now there's speculation of like Faranek finding the guy that knocked her up and having him like torn apart by dogs.
I've heard that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's just so much out there.
Like,
I don't know what to believe, but
cover them in like honey or something.
both are believable
sweet.
when you think about this time.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Faranek could do that, and like nobody would give a shit. Like it would.
No, it would be expected. They would all be there cheering it on. They'd have foam fingers and shit.
Oh, you're not gonna have him torn apart by dogs?
Right. I got the dogs here.
I got the dogs.
Why are we British all of a sudden?
I don't know.
We need to be Hungarian.
I got the meat. I don't know. I can't.
I got the dogs.
Where's the dogs?
Where are the dogs? Bring the dogs.
We want to spill his blood.
We going to bathe in the blood after or what? Or what?
I need to exfoliate.
Dogs do not drink the blood. We need it. Keep us young. Bathory and Natesty got married in 1575 when she was 15. Natesty's wedding gift to Bathory was, of course, a castle.
Was that all?
That's what you give.
That's minimum.
Dude,
right?
When you're getting married to someone, are you supposed to give them a gift? I just gave my wife like an engagement ring.
I just gave my wife forever love. So
yeah. I feel like you get gifts from other people. You're not supposed to I'm marrying you. What more do you want? Well, I just gave my life to you, the rest of my life to you.
Yeah,
do I need to give you a fucking castle too?
I feel like that was kind of customary for this time. Like somebody was supposed to, like the man was supposed to come up with a big gift for somebody. I feel like if it was like a peasant, you're supposed to like give a pig to her dad or something.
Because before this, it was like you drag them over like a dead animal. Like, here you go, woman.
Here you go. Just carry on.
But they've advanced a little bit now where they're giving castles to them.
Right.
Hey, I'd marry him for a castle, bro.
Would you?
Yeah.
Marry him for a castle?
Fuck yeah.
Damn. He's probably never going to be there anyway. He's going to be all fighting and shit.
Dude, the
like
pictures of him, he's a big, burly badass, dude. We'll talk more.
Does that do it for you?
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
I'm not having some little fairy boy. If
Okay.
I'm going to do it,
You're going to be the...
if I'm going to that side, it's going to be for...
I got you. You're going to be the Randy Moss in this situation. You're not really so much going to be
I get
the
what you're
Brett
saying.
Favre.
Catching.
Yeah, you're going to be the old Yogi Berra. You're not really going to be...
God, we've taken a turn on this podcast. We need to get back on track here. Oh, Jesus. So, yeah, he gives her a castle, and the castle was called Setchi.
Yeah, you nailed it, I think.
Setchi Castle?
Setchi. I don't know. We're going to butcher a lot of this shit. We butcher English words.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, sorry, Hungarians out there.
you know this stuff.
Because Elizabeth was socially outranked him, her family was more powerful and richer.
Right.
There's a lot of stuff out there that goes, she married into a richer family. I heard that shit several times. I'm like, no.
No, she didn't even need this
Dude,
damn castle.
the Bathories were the shit. Like,
She didn't even need the castle. She was like, oh, great, I'll put it next to my other castles on the hill.
Seriously, I guess if I have time, I'll go look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not living
Maybe I'll
there.
have a peasant wash it from time to time.
Right. Because she outranked him socially, she kept her surname Bathory, and she officially became the Countess. So she had that to gain because he, at this time, had become the Count.
And that's a way cooler name.
That's dope.
Yeah.
The Count.
Way
That's
cooler.
my one thing I like about Michael Bisping is his nickname, the Count. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, he's a douche. The young couple lived in Natesty castles in Hungary. So she did go live at the Natesty castle.
Yeah,
so.
she did live in that castle, but
Yeah, it's the
out of pity, probably.
Setchi Castle is now in Slovakia. Faranek was an ambitious soldier and was pretty much always gone. So he
He was a hell of a soldier, too, right?
Dude, he was the shit.
Nickname like the Black Knight.
the Black Knight of Hungary,
Yeah.
known for his brutality. We'll get into that in a minute. But while he's gone at war, she is tending to all of their properties, pretty much. She
Oh,
becomes,
yeah. She's CEO in that shit.
yeah, what do you
Yeah.
call it, the Maidis or whatever? What was she, her official?
That's a good question. I don't know, but she was like in charge at this point.
She's
Completely.
Under her control
Financial
is
accounts,
hundreds, maybe thousands of peasant worker girls.
Yeah.
She's basically in charge of keeping these castles running smoothly.
Right. And because she's still managing
even-
her other castles, too.
Right, and even to the point where she's at one of the castles, she had to like be in charge of defense while he was away. To where if some Ottoman Turks showed up, like she had to have the place ready to be defended, like even making military plans and shit.
She was
like
probably rigging that shit up like Home Alone. Right. Got like maces hanging from ropes.
that. Right, Matchbox cars on the ground,
Yeah. You're slipping on them. You fall on
marbles,
You fall on these 12-inch spikes that come up from the floor.
right.
Those are more elaborate.
So more on Faranek Natesty's war prowess. He was known to behead victims
gosh.
at war and play soccer with their heads at times. That's one thing they
Literally
speculated
kicking their
with.
heads around. Yeah, he would like dance with their dead bodies,
I feel like that would hurt your foot. Kicking a head.
kicking a skull. Well, he
Shit's
probably
hard, man.
had some pretty hefty boots, or he might have had those all metal night boots on.
Steel tip.
Yeah, still all
Steel tip head kickers.
Steel soles.
You got them head kickers?
Looking for bear them head kickers.
None of them plastic tip bullshit.
All them
I'm
composite.
gonna kick a head right. I need some
gonna
steel.
Can't get any distant with that plastic.
Right. I need some Valerian steel shoe tips. Now we're turning fucking southern.
Right. You
God.
started it.
This is just terrible.
It's too easy for me.
Right. What else was he known for in war? I know he had some pretty brutal tactics that he would use.
He was a king of torturing too. He had like little contraptions that he had made there that would like clamp, like some kind of hand torturing device where it would like clamp onto your hand and like
Really?
spread your fingers until they would just bust.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I didn't
Pretty
know about
crazy.
that one.
I think he gave one or some sort of model, something similar to that, to Elizabeth, and like taught her how to use it and stuff.
That's tight.
Yeah, he taught her a lot about
Why did I say that's
torturing,
tight?
supposedly.
I have a fascination with torture devices, and I've always like been able to. I'll sit around and think of ways that I would torture people if I
Well,
needed to. If I needed to, you know,
Right.
if I had the right opportunity, and a real scumbag came across me, and I was allowed to do it.
yeah. Still, I don't think.
I think the
that's-
Iron Bull is probably the most horrific thing I've ever heard of.
What
you
is
know about that one where there was I forget who it was that designed it looks like a giant like brass bowl
Okay.
and it's like life size and basically that you put somebody live inside of it and then you put it over a fire and it heats up.
Oh,
and it's
shit.
designed like where the bull's nose is, it's designed to where when the person starts screaming, it transforms the screams into like a bull noise.
No.
Yeah, and like smoke comes out. It's freaking insane.
No. Is it called the Iron Bull?
Yeah, or I think it's like the brass bull or type in brass bull torture.
All right.
This shit was like
brass.
old school torture stuff, but that's probably the
Oh,
most
shit,
horrific thing I've
yeah.
ever heard of.
The Brazen Bull.
The brazen bull, and the guy that designed this actually ended up getting put inside it by the king that had him build it for him.
Dude, this is like, it looks like the statue from the Bible called Bel.
Yeah,
You know what I'm talking about? The golden calf. It kind of looks like that.
shit's crazy.
That is crazy.
I don't know. How would you torture people if you could?
Dude, I don't sit around and think about that shit. You're not normal. You know?
No.
Oh.
Well, thanks for making me feel like this shit.
I'm just kidding.
One thing to note is that Fahrenheit contributed large sums of his own money to the crown to help keep the wars going, the ongoing wars with the Ottomans and defending their lands against the Austrians as well.
And the Turks, right?
Yeah, well, like I said, the Turks, the Ottoman Turks, and
I
the
didn't hear you say
Austrians.
the Turks, I'm sorry.
The-
I'm still reading this bull thing.
Like we
This
said,
thing's
we
crazy.
mentioned that not only was Bathory's family more rich than the king, but I think Fahrenheit even at this time had his family, the Natastys, had a lot of money as well. And
They did.
And I'm sure when he joined forces with Bathory, they had a surplus, and they ended up giving a lot to the king at the time. What was his name?
They were kind of buying his favor, so to speak, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Right. I'm just
King
trying-
Matthias, man.
King Matthias, yeah.
Yeah.
So he had made large donations, obviously hoping to be repaid after the wars
course.
slowed down or whatever, but we'll talk more about that.
Playing the political game.
Right. In 1578, Natasty became the chief commander of the Hungarian troops, leading them to war against the Ottomans. We mentioned he contributed large sums of his own money to the king during this time. Elizabeth is running all of the estates. Her childhood, what is it?
Like her-
Nurse
Oh, okay.
and like caretaker was
Right.
a woman named Darvolia, and she started taking on more little underlings. And this is where we start hearing of the first
Kind of her favorites here.
abuse of. She starts getting a taste for abusing these peasant girls.
Right.
Now, there's a lot of reasons why, speculation why. Some say that she was jealous because when her husband Fahrenheit would come home, he had a taste for
Right.
these young peasant girls. The more
Yeah.
voluptuous ones, he would run off. In the
And I
middle of
heard
the night
that it was kind of a don't ask, don't tell type scenario. Like she knew
Yeah.
what was going on. He knew that she knew. It's just nobody said anything.
She didn't
and if
want
you
these
did
girls
say anything-
snickering about it.
Yes,
when she would
exactly.
walk through the halls, if she would overhear
Yep.
a girl joking about having sex with Fahrenheit, it would
Scissors
get
to the
ugly.
throat, right?
Right. It
Yeah.
would get real ugly. And Fahrenheit, there was one point where he kind of gives her the go-ahead. Like, he comes back, and there's a girl that had gotten punished by Elizabeth, and she was in the courtyard. This was the one that Elizabeth supposedly had rubbed honey on And what else? Anyways, she put her in the courtyard of the castle and
Yep.
basically had her attacked by insects and shit.
Just any animals that would come. Yeah.
Right. And so I believe this was the moment, at least in the book, it told it this way, where Fahrenheit came back. But it is known that Fahrenheit did show her something, a way to get the girl that has been punished and doesn't want to listen anymore. If they've been punished to the point where they're like, refusing to move from one location to the other. The
Right.
way to get them moving is to put little strips of paper soaked in some kind of a
Like
fuel
a
between
oil,
an oil between their toes, and he called it star kicking.
Okay.
You light these little
Yeah.
pieces of paper on fire between
Right.
the
Well, this is one of those
Peasant's
methods I was
toes.
telling you about.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Kinda
this
gets them
is
moving.
the moment, it seems early on, where he's kind of giving her the okay to it's totally cool to torture these.
It's kind of what
women if
athletes
they're
foot
not
feels
doing-
like, I think.
Totally. Where's Shaq when you need him?
Right?
How's he hot?
Where's that? It's that Ultra Bond.
Ultra Bond,
What is it called? You know what I'm talking about. The foot. Shit.
That dude must be in pain everywhere because every commercial he's in is like some sort of pain relief.
Shaq? Well, dude, the body that big.
She's fucking huge. Breadstick fingers.
Breadstick fingers, yeah. Like Olive Garden breadstick
Yeah.
fingers.
All you can eat.
Right. What? Going freaking
We're getting
Countess
just
on me again.
goofy as
So
shit today.
goofy.
I'm sorry, people.
God.
You know what? This is a good time to throw in an advertisement and get back on track after.
Hell yeah.
All right, Michael, let's talk about our friends over at Casper Mattress. Casper is a sleep brand that created an outrageously comfortable mattress sold directly to consumers, eliminating commission-driven, inflated prices. Its award-winning sleep surface was developed in-house, has a sleek design, and is delivered in a small, how did they do that, sized box. In addition to the mattress, Casper also offers an additional adaptive pillow and soft, breathable sheets.
Right, and the mattress industry has forced consumers into paying notoriously high markups. Casper is revolutionizing the mattress industry by cutting the cost of dealing with resellers and showrooms and passing what savings directly to you, the consumer.
An in-house team of engineers spent thousands of hours developing the Casper. It combines supportive memory foams for a sleep surface that got just the right sink and just the right bounce. Plus, its breathable design sleeps cool to help you regulate your temperature through the night.
And it's so convenient. Buying a Casper mattress is completely risk-free. Casper offers free delivery and free returns with a 100-night home trial. If you don't love it, they'll pick it up and refund everything. Casper understands the importance of truly sleeping on a mattress before you commit, especially considering you're going to spend a third of your freaking life on it, right?
Yeah, I think too many people are walking around like their back's killing them and they get a terrible night of sleep. They probably woke up a bunch of times and they don't realize that they got this old crappy mattress. It's probably got
Right.
like 50 pounds of hair and skin and just to gross you out, old fingernails and stuff in there. It's time to get yourself a Casper mattress, people.
God.
That's if you're walking around feeling like crap, you probably slept bad, you need a Casper mattress.
Right. Don't
Give
just
it a shot. Do
don't-
the 100-day free trial. You got nothing to lose.
Right. Don't just flip it over again. Okay. There's hair and shit on that side too. Okay.
You're just mixing it all up. You're making
Right.
a concoction here. So just to quickly run back through, the Casper is an obsessively engineered mattress at a shockingly fair price. The product design features a marriage between foam layers for ideal firmness, just the right sink and just the right bounce, affordable price because Casper sells it directly to consumers, free shipping and returns to U.S. and Canada. You get that 100-day free trial, no hassle returns if you're not happy.
And with over 20,000 reviews and an average of 4.8 stars, it's quickly becoming the internet's favorite mattress. That's based on Casper, Amazon, and Google reviews.
This is my favorite part. Designed, developed, and assembled in the USA.
Good old USA.
Right.
Hot damn.
And here's the other best part. You go over to casper.com/creeper and you get $50 off.
Right, or if you go to Casper.com, you use promo code CREEPER.
Yep, that saves you $50 as well.
That's right.
One way or another,
Either way.
you save yourself $50. So that's once again, casper.com/creeper, or if you just go and you purchase a mattress and put in the code word creeper, you save $50.
That's right. Casper.com/creeper or just Casper.com, promo code CREEPER.
All right. Let's get back to the show. Yeah, so we mentioned Darvulia, who seemed to be by her side the entire time. I've also heard her called Lana Jew, I think, which is the same. Lana Jew.
I don't know. I haven't heard that.
I think they might be the same person. I don't know if maybe the book I read Nate called her Darvulia. I've heard Darvulia on several occasions, and I've also learned, but I think it's the same person. Anyways, there was also Fitzko, who happened to also be a dwarf, and these were people that would end up helping her. They rose to the top as far as they became her favorite servants and ended up helping her. They became
Right.
cohorts in torture with her.
Yeah.
they were just as guilty.
Very involved.
And Dorca,
Some of these people, actually, all these paid for it, didn't they? In the end, like a lot of these people,
they got the worst of it.
they
Actually,
took the bullets for. Yeah.
Now, over the years, Elizabeth and Fernick found time when he would come back from war to have children. They would end up having quite a few children. They'd end up with 5. I believe a couple of them died from smallpox.
Yeah, 2 or 3.
They kept trying for a boy to be the heir to the throne.
Right.
You know,
Finally got one.
right, and they finally did. They had 4 straight girls.
Yep.
I believe they had a boy mixed in, but I think at a young age, when he was an infant, he might have died of smallpox, which was a sad part of the book for me. I don't know how much of that was fiction, though, but I think I did read in several other locations that they lost a good dude. There's another part of this time, though. It's like not only did it suck to be a peasant, or for anybody, it sucked with the disease that ran rampant during that time.
Sure.
It was, no vaccinations and
Yeah, their medicine wasn't state of the art then, so.
right. So, anyways, they would have those. They would have the children. Did you have the names of them?
Yeah, she had 4 daughters that lived: Ursula, Caitlin, Anna, and Anastasia, and then their son that ended up living, his name was Paul.
Right, and 2 of the daughters would end up being set up with powerful families
Of
as
course,
well,
sure.
keeping the bloodlines going. She apparently was a great mother. She was great to her family. She reminds you of like Cersei from Game of Thrones in that way. Ruthless if you're
Right.
not in the family, but just a fierce mother and loved her children greatly and wanted the best. And like a lot of the actual writings we still have, I believe, whereas there was a letter sent to her son while she was later locked up, which we'll get to.
Yeah, I think she wrote to Paul more than anybody. Yeah.
Loved her son. There's something about that mother-son bond.
Right.
But you see that side of her, and then you also hear other stories. So there's one story where a servant girl stole a coin or coins
Right.
from the household. Like I guess Elizabeth was super. I would even go as far as to say anal, almost OCD about. She knew where she knew every inch of the castle she was
Right.
in. If something was moved or misplaced, she knew. So like she would often catch these servant girls
Right.
in the act of stealing something, or she would notice something was missing and she would call a meeting. And
Right. And then from the peasants' standpoint, I mean, they got nothing to lose.
Right.
Why not try to swipe something from the castle? I mean, you have
well,
no
maybe
rights,
because
you
something
have
like this
nothing.
could happen, where if you steal a coin, Elizabeth might find out that you did it.
Oh, and she might burn it to
heats-
your hand.
Yeah, she might heat it up to where it's red hot and burn the coin into your hand to where you have
The old coin hand.
that coin's impression on your hand forever and a constant reminder that you stole.
Blazing quarter in the palm trick.
Right. Now, we don't know how much of this torturing of these girls and killing of these girls was going on while Fernick was alive.
Right.
Common belief is mainly that she started heavily killing after he died, which is not far from where we're at in the story. He died in 1604, but there was public complaints and rumors going on between 1602 and 1604 about her atrocities and that girls were coming up missing. There was a Lutheran minister named Istvan Magyari who had made complaints publicly about her, I believe at a wedding where he called her out pretty much.
Yeah.
And-
I mean, she had to have been doing it before he died, man.
Yeah.
If he's teaching her torture tricks, she's...
Yeah, and so what I believe is that she was going to this minister. I've heard a lot of stuff about her taking bodies of these girls to him in the middle of the night,
Me too,
and
yep.
having this minister dispose of the bodies
Right.
and give them Catholic services or whatever, and just get rid of the bodies basically,
Like
and
proper
keep
burials
on
or
the down
whatever.
low.
Yeah.
And at a certain point, he started telling her like, "Look, I'm not doing this anymore. You've got to
like,
stop."
599. That's
Yeah,
it.
I
Don't bring me 600 bucks. Okay? You trying to send me to hell? Huh? You trying to drag me to hell with you?
Right. Great movie, by the way. Drag Me to Hell. So yeah, he at a certain point he warned her, and it's believed that she started then using her underlings to dispose of the bodies, and there's bodies like popping up on her property, like in the orchard. There, you'd be walking through the orchard and trip over a foot.
She shouldn't
like,
have got the laziest underlings to take the bodies, man. They were just like dropping them off the window, I think.
Right.
They were just,
just cover them with like a thin layer of dirt and just
there appears to be a head in your flower bed.
why is there speed bumps all over in your flower bed?
Right.
Yeah, and she would try to tell people that asked about them that they died from disease and stuff last year, and it's like, well, the body's still pretty fresh.
Yeah, pretty fresh, and it's just laying here.
Right. And it's got torture marks all over it.
It just doesn't look good when we have visitors.
Drained of all its blood. Strange.
Right. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Burned between the toes.
Yeah.
Strange.
So let's go through some of the stuff that is alleged that she was doing as far as torture.
Oh, joy.
Some of her torture included jamming pins and needles under the fingernails of her servant girls, smearing them with honey. We talked about that, and leaving them to be attacked by insects. She would, supposedly when she was under the weather, would bite chunks out of their flesh. One girl was supposedly even forced to cook and eat her own flesh. I don't know, man. Some of this stuff is just over the top. But she would probably had a lot of time on her hands. Like, there was no television. She had all the money in the world. It's like, you've got to be bored at a certain point, right?
She was pretty creative, too. A lot of stuff. I mean, and she witnessed a guy getting sewn into a horse as a kid. So she's like,
I got to take it up a notch, right?
If that's your starting, point, yeah, man, you gotta evolve.
Right.
You gotta get with it.
Supposedly she would also stab the victims, cut them with scissors, stick needles into their lips, burn them with red-hot irons, coins, or keys. We talked about the red-hot coin and the palm trick.
That's right.
Some were beaten to death and some were starved. I did hear a lot about the starving thing. She would leave them down like in a basement and just leave them there to starve. That's one of the worst ways, really.
You think so?
Terrible.
I think eventually you just fall asleep.
I get so hangry after just a few hours if I don't get to eat.
Well, that's true.
But I imagine you just get weak at a certain point and then
you just fall asleep and don't wake up.
It also, there's much talk about her being the blood countess and about her bathing in blood. Now, there's also been a lot of speculation online about whether or not it's even possible due to coagulation.
Right.
It is possible, as long as you do it quickly, in my opinion. And supposedly she had an Iron Maiden in one of the, she had like a torture room in her castle.
Right.
With like an Iron Maiden hanging from the ceiling. If you don't know what that is, it's like a big iron casket with spikes in it. And you put a person in there, and then you close the lid, and the spikes stab the person, and the blood drains out. So if you had an Iron Maiden hanging from the ceiling with a bath below,
exactly,
totally possible.
That's what we suggest. That's what we think is the main thing. Like maybe she just stood under it and almost like showered in the blood. Maybe she didn't necessarily lay in a giant bathtub of blood.
Right.
Or maybe she did.
There's a lot of there's a story that's told about her stabbing or slapping one of the servant girls and getting blood on her face, and she gets this epiphany where it's like, my face looks really young with this blood, because as she gets older, let's talk real quick about her
That's the girl
husband.
that was cutting her hair, right? The girl was like cutting her hair, and she accidentally cut her with the scissors, and then she like hit her or punched her or something.
I'm sure it was an accident.
She got blood. Right. Oh, for the head.
Oops.
Oh, this is too small.
Right.
No, but I watched the worst movie on it. The worst movie factually.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys just want to be entertained, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
It's on Amazon.
What's it called? Do you remember?
Elizabeth Bathory.
Oh, okay.
The Blood Countess, probably.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't know. It's real creative. It was it's
one
on
with the
Amazon.
roller skates that I've
it's
heard
on
about?
YouTube. Yeah. The monks are on roller skates that eventually propel themselves. I don't know how that happens.
Yeah, you know those 1,500 wooden roller skates.
That scene in the movie shocked the shit out of me, because I thought it was going to be, like what happened, what actually happened.
Yeah.
No, the girl cuts her, right? She turns around, grabs the scissors out of her hand, and just starts stabbing her in the neck repeatedly and in the chest. Just continues to just stab her to death, and then they just drag her body out of the castle and send her to the coroner.
But supposedly, at some point, she gets the blood of a servant girl on her skin or on her face, and she has this epiphany where like she believes she looks younger because she was obsessed with vanity. That's one thing that's like consensus across the board, is like she was obsessed with her looks, which growing up in a noble family, the women are supposed to be beautiful or dressed to the T.
Real quick, can I intervene something right here? Some people speculate that they blame it on her doing this because of vanity, because her doing it because she was a psychopath or she loved power was seen as more detrimental to her character as a woman. Mm-hmm. It was easier to believe, she just wanted to look pretty forever. Yeah. Than to believe
almost
that
sexist in a way is what you're
could
saying?
be one of the most violent killers.
Women can be
in
evil
the
too,
world.
damn it.
Yeah,
it's not just because they want to be pretty.
Right. Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
Right.
Like it could, they just like to say, she just wanted to look pretty.
Right.
I mean, I have to believe.
Why else would
she
you want
knew
to bathe
4
in blood,
languages?
just because you're sick, I guess, right?
Right. I mean, if she knew 4 languages, knew philosophy and astrology and all this shit, I think she would know that. Oh, my hand just looks better with blood on it because it's shiny.
I think the problem really lies in that they didn't have water heaters. So how else are you supposed to take a warm bath?
That's so true. You're perfect 98 degrees
Who
every
wants to
time.
sit in a cold bath, bro?
98.6 degrees every time if you hurry up, man.
Yeah, it's nice and thick and it lasts long. And
boom. Hey, you
got a
get
nice
somebody that's running a fever? What a treat, right?
Right.
Am I right?
Got a nice red, healthy glow afterwards.
Shit.
Who needs blush?
How are you feeling, Emily? Oh, it's 105, madam. Come on in here for a second.
This is one of
Come
those
on in
cases
here.
where like all of our, we're so nice in a lot of these episodes and like caring of the victims, but when you go back, how many
We don't
years
even know
now?
if they were victims.
Yeah, that's just we just don't know if any of this
don't
shit.
know
This
their
could be
names,
almost
we don't know
entirely
anything.
bullshit.
Yeah.
But it's probably not because it was just crazy back then, and everybody seemed to die horrifically back then. So it's
Like we said earlier, you weren't normal if you weren't a murderer back then. Everybody
I
died.
don't know about that.
Yeah, I really think so. I think
You think
even
all the
peasants,
peasants were
even
murderers
peasants
too?
probably had a notch in their belt, man.
Crabs in a bucket, like
Yeah.
stepping on each other,
Yeah,
throwing each other under the bus.
probably. Somebody steals your bread, you go and beat them with a rock.
Right.
Get your first murder. You know.
Yeah, so we went through some of the supposed ways that she would deal with these peasant girls. It always seemed to come back to she had less and less tolerance as she got older for them.
I think
As
that's
she got-
everybody.
Right. But it's like, it seemed like in the beginning she could deal with them. She was friends with a lot of
Yeah.
them. And then as she got older, she just became a bitter older woman. After her husband died, Fernick died January 4th, 1604 at the age of 48. There's a lot of, talk about maybe he had an infection from a war wound. He had something where he fell ill, and then it wasn't long after that he stopped eating and died.
Right.
This is around this time. There's an investigation starting now. When Fernick died, he had a good friend in war and also another fellow noble person of the area,
Right.
named Giorgio Thorzo, battle brother and friend, and he basically told Thorzo to take care of his family when he died.
Right.
And he also told Elizabeth, I would like you to remarry, and I would like you to remarry Thorzo. He can take care of our children, and you don't want to be a widow in this world.
Right.
A widowed noblewoman with all these castles and shit that are ripe for the taking if you don't have a powerful husband to protect you.
Because Fernick was protecting her from all sorts
Yeah.
of from the law, from the churches. He was protecting her. Like he had so much power, he could pretty much just be like, no, that didn't happen. And they're like, oh, my mistake, sir.
Right. These bodies that are turning up just look the other way.
No, don't. That they fell over.
My Elizabeth would not do.
Right, exactly.
things.
So with him gone, there was nobody left to ward off all the investigators and whatnot. So.
Right. Now, Thorzo was another cousin as well, by the way. Just throw that down.
Man, we keep it with the cousins up in here.
Elizabeth and Fernick had been married for 29 years. They were, from all accounts, they seemed very happy. After Fernick got over those first few awkward years, they realized that they both really were resistant to the whole idea of being forced to be married. But then they realized they were a lot more alike than they thought initially, and they ended up having a great marriage.
I bet they never told their parents that shit.
Right.
You were right. Oh my God.
Seriously.
He's not that bad. He taught me how to torture.
He taught me how to star kick, okay? In 1609, Thorzo was bestowed the title of Palantine of Hungary, which is about as powerful as it gets aside from king. It's like you are the almighty power of the area aside from the king, but the king seems to be always busy doing other shit. So the Palatine's it's kind of the spot
Yeah,
you
you're
want.
kind of like the stand-in king.
It's the shit. Being the Palatine's the shit back
All right.
then. So that's what I gathered. I don't know. I'm not some fucking expert. I'm not a historian here, but Elizabeth had Thorzo. She started to warm up to Thorzo and try to accept and try to get him to do what Fernick's last wishes were, to find herself a new husband and everything.
right.
Thorzo wasn't as receptive to it. I think he ended up getting with a younger woman.
Ooh.
But Elizabeth was snuggling up to Thorzo and trying to get to that point. At one point, she had Thorzo take her to the king's brother to request repayment of Fernick's lendings to the actual king during those wars with the Ottomans, which is still ongoing.
Right.
This is a moment where you can look at this whole story and go, this whole thing could be bullshit because of this right here. Elizabeth dealing with Thorzo, who ends up, if you could look at it from this point of Thorzo stabbing her in the back if you wanted,
Yep.
Thorzo and the higher ups, the king and the whole crown up there, had a lot to gain from Elizabeth's downfall. And she's going there begging for the repayment because she wants to be able to marry off her children and give gifts to their new husbands. And,
Right.
She's looking for the golden years now. She needs
Rightfully so. I mean,
her
this
nest
man,
egg back.
This man gave to this military and this
Yes.
government for so long, and then he died for it.
Right.
And then you're not going to repay him?
And I guess the king during this time, what was his name again?
Matthias.
Matthias. he was so busy. He was really into like dealing with the great artists at the time and using a lot of money in ways that some people were criticizing, and he was using his own money for that kind of stuff instead of the war efforts, and then taking money from the noble people and using that for the war efforts. And she wanted her money back. And instead of being able to get to him, she went to his brother, and because she thought maybe he'd be more receptive, and she was going to support him overthrowing his brother to become the king, and it didn't work out. Anyways, it's all politics. But the point is, she was kind of sticking her nose in places that were, without a powerful husband to protect her, kind of, you could say that this may have been her downfall here. And if you want to look at it from the side of maybe she didn't do half the shit people said she did, they could have easily made a lot of this shit up, spread rumors, and then they just got worse over the years.
Yep, because with her out of the picture, they keep a lot of money.
Right. So
a lot of money.
Yeah, so that's going on. And then finally in 1610, King Matthias II assigned Giorgio Thorzo to investigate these disappearances of all these peasant girls. Now, at this point, she's gotten so brazen. We always talk about serial killers, and like the more success they have. Mm-hmm. At this point, if you believe in the final number, death count, she could have been hundreds of peasant girls. And at the point where she was then taking like young, more higher up on the hierarchy. Yeah. Like not quite noble, but you know.
You don't think that was a little bit more of like a fuck you? I'm not going to get my money anyways. You guys aren't going to help me out. Everybody's against me, so.
Right.
I might as well make this worth my while.
Right. It easily could have been. At first, they were servant girls at her castles, daughters of the local peasants, but later they would end up including girls sent to her by local gentry families to learn good manners. So some of the noble families would send their daughters off to her place to learn good manners, because she was such a good... One thing we haven't really brought up is that she was running all these castles and everything. She was well respected in that... by all appearances, in public stuff like weddings, anytime there was like a big event, she had the grand appearance. She was always well dressed, well mannered. She was everything you would want in a noble woman.
Absolutely.
And so, like, by all outward appearances, she was like the perfect woman to send your daughter off to learn how to become a great noble woman.
Not to mention, those peasants had no other choices.
Right.
And what else are they going to do? There's no school, there's no education, there's nothing for them to learn anything.
But the speculation is that she started taking out girls that were a little higher up on the scale.
Right.
And that's where she got into trouble, and that's where the crown started to take notice. But it also could have been her, like we mentioned, sticking her nose and trying to get repaid. Mm-hmm. That said, sent King Matthias into like, okay, let's get rid of her. She doesn't have a husband. We're just going to take all of her lands and everything.
Oh, so much to gain.
It's there for the take. Yeah, there really was, and they wanted to get their hands on it before the Austrians could take it. Could come in and take it. It was like a power grab at this point.
Yeah,
getting her stuff.
It's just another thing that makes that time so just unfathomable to live in.
Right.
That if somebody can have something by force, they can have it.
Oh yeah.
Like there's not always someone that has your back. Mm-hmm. If you don't have alliances.
What did Karl Panzram say? Might makes right. That was the law back then.
That was absolutely.
Yeah.
He was born for that era, man.
Yeah.
He would have thrived there.
Yeah.
He would have whooped Ferentz's ass, or what is his name?
Yeah. So they had much to. That would, I don't know, dude.
That would be a hell of a fight.
Fernick was a big boy. He knew how to yield a sword, and he played soccer with heads. So I don't know.
Panzram's like, that's bullshit.
How many boys I molested?
I was kicking around heads at 8 years old.
Right. So Thorzo would order 2 notaries to collect evidence. Now this was in 1609, not 2009, 1609 and 1610. He's starting to get gathering information. He sent notaries to her area. He's starting to get interviews, but statements from local peoples on what's going on.
Right.
Peasants in her castle, starting to get stuff to where when they do arrest her, they've got a lot against her.
Also, to be fair, he's torturing a lot of these people he's interviewing.
Yes. Let's make that clear. Yeah, he gathers more than 300 witnesses, all of which would be tortured.
They're not knocking on your door asking for a minute of your time.
What'd you say? She bathed in their blood and whips them again?
I've never seen it. Have you?
Right. So this would all lead to December 29th, 1610. Thorzo and a group of soldiers would show up to Bathory Castle to arrest Elizabeth. And there's a lot of different stories out there about when he showed up, that he caught her in the act of beating a girl to death, that there was bodies like under her bed and all this stuff. I don't know how much of that I believe. There was a letter that Thorzo wrote to his wife, which, if you believe it, that kind of leads to he found some crazy shit when he showed up. Like, caught her pretty much red-handed.
But wouldn't that be perfect evidence to leave for history? I mean, it seems so innocent because like, oh, he just wrote it to his wife. It's not like he addressed the king or nothing.
Yeah.
Or the
It's
church.
all, you saying it's
He
all
just-
too convenient?
It's all too convenient that he happened to write that letter.
And then
It's
the
like-
letter to his wife gets released publicly. It's like, why would that even make it out there?
Right.
Yeah, unless he wanted it to.
Exactly.
And he has a lot, like we mentioned, a lot to gain from her
Absolutely.
downfall.
Absolutely.
The trial would go on, and Elizabeth wouldn't really be a part of it. The trial records included the testimony of the 4 defendants as well as 13 witnesses. Now, the 4 defendants would be the 4 underlings that we mentioned, the dwarf and the 3 peasant women that she trained to be brutal.
Exactly.
They seemed to enjoy themselves, so they were quite
yeah,
guilty
I think
as well.
they deserved it. Yeah.
The testimony also included priests, noblemen, and commoners that were all questioned. King Matthias urged Thorzo to bring Elizabeth to trial and suggested she be sentenced to death, but Thorzo successfully convinced the king that such an act would be adversely affected. It would basically affect the nobility of the area and
Right.
slander the name of the nobility, and thus is why she wasn't sentenced to death. She wasn't a part of the trial.
When I got to this part of the story, I was like, dude.
They just lambasted her,
If
right?
somehow-
in a sense, it had the feel almost of Aileen Wuornos in a sense.
It did.
It's like she didn't get her say. It was just like,
I thought, man, if Fernick somehow comes back to life, he's gonna fuck all y'all up. All of y'all. He's gonna have so many fucking soccer balls in his collection. It's gonna be
Right.
ridiculous.
let's get through this, and then we'll give our final thoughts on like how
right.
much she did, because she obviously
right.
wasn't completely innocent. But
Yeah, that'd be.
I think we both agree that she probably didn't do 90% of the shit she said, or they said she did. I don't know. Thorzo's motivation for such an intervention is debated by scholars. It was decided that Matthias would not have to repay his large debt to Elizabeth.
No shit. Did not see that coming.
Right. So what they did was they sentenced her to be walled into her own castle. They walled her into like a set of rooms.
Yeah,
I heard it was just one room.
I did too. I heard it was just
You
one
can
room, like, in the
imagine
middle
how
of the
fun that
castle.
would be, having your own, like having to pee and poop in that room. Like there was literally just a slit for food to be slid in, food and water,
Mm-hmm.
and like a tiny slit where she could just see the sky, and that was it. Just a brick room,
Yeah.
nothing in it. And that was where she was to stay until she died, never to be let out.
Well, she could have been sewn into a horse, so.
Yeah, that could be worse.
alternatively-
Or what happened to her underlings could have happened to her
Oh,
as
yeah.
well, which is much worse.
Right, let's go into that, shall we?
Yeah, so Fitzgo the dwarf would be beheaded. He got off lightly. The other 3 women would have their fingers cut off with some kind of snippers, right?
Yeah, some kind of shears. of some
Shears.
sort.
They would have
Yeah.
their fingers cut off. I don't know what the purpose of that was, because then they would be thrown onto
'Cause
fires
it
and burned
hurts.
alive. Yeah, I suppose. But of all things, like a lot of stuff hurts. Why? I don't get it.
I don't know, man. Because I don't know. I guess it's easy. It's kind of a lazy thing. It's like you just want them screaming before they get on the fire, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they got the worst fate of all. Well, Elizabeth, that's no fun, being walled into a little room in your own
Dude.
castle. And
Put me in a damn room all day before you snip my fingers off and throw me in a fire.
that's true. That's true. Now, in doing that, they didn't slander the nobility as much as if they'd put her on trial, made a big deal of it, and then publicly killed her in front of everyone, sentenced her to death, and like hung her or burned her alive in front of everyone,
Right.
like a witch or something.
Because I'm sure she had plenty of loyal people to
But
her
speaks
still. And
to-
that could have caused another uprising.
All
too.
of this whole the trial, the investigation into her, and the end result lends itself to the speculation that maybe that the crown just, like we said, lambasted her.
Yeah.
Because it's like you just walled her into her own castle.
There was no back and forth
If
either.
she killed, as you say, 600, because during the trial there was a peasant woman who claimed to have seen a ledger
Mm-hmm.
that Elizabeth had kept, and it had 650 names of victims that she had killed.
Right.
So that's where they got their number of 650.
But
that
did it say
number is argued.
people I killed at the top?
I,
Because it could have been. It could have been.
peasants I've murdered.
Yeah. It could have been like peasants I've employed.
Yeah,
Yeah. You never know. And the ones written in red are dead. Maybe.
right.
I don't know. I mean, you can't just grab a list of 600 names and be like, "Oh, she definitely killed all these people."
Right, and like we mentioned, conveniently, the king didn't have to repay the family for the debts that were owed from
Super
her
convenient.
husband that had been deceased.
Right.
And so it was just all too convenient. The crown then took over the castles that she owned, and that was it. She's walled in, and she would end up spending her days in there writing to her son, and she would die 4 years later after supposedly starving herself.
Yeah, she had like mentioned to the guard though, like the day before, said, well, I don't know how the hell they get this dialogue, but I heard this in multiple places where she had mentioned something about like losing feeling in her hands, or something like that, or in her legs, like she was unable to stand,
yeah.
and he was like, "Oh, it's nothing. You know, make sure you eat."
Yeah, it said she complained to this was on the evening of the 21st of August, 1614. Bathory complained to her bodyguard that her hands were cold, whereupon he replied, "It's nothing, mistress, just go lie down." She went to go to sleep and was found dead the following morning.
See, I mean, like who took this down? Who was sitting in the corner with a quill, just
Okay, so I'm seeing in our study here that the underlings that got killed, their fingers were not cut off; they were ripped off with hot pincers. So
Jesus.
a little worse.
that is worse.
Yeah.
I like to think if you pulled my finger, my body would come too. You know.
I guess, yeah. Fico, who was just decapitated, they did that because they deemed him less culpable. I guess he was.
I think he was
Because he was a
a
dwarf, do you
lower
think?
class. I think he was like a lower class citizen too, as well. So they felt like he was more following orders
Yeah.
than acting on his own.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, to wrap this up, where she would end up dying was Casper Castle. Still kind of a tourist attraction to this day, I guess, right? It was for a long time.
Yeah, you can go check out the ruins in Slovakia right now. There's
Yeah.
not really that much left of it though. I'm kind of looking at pictures of it.
I was
right
hoping
now.
you could
It's
look up pictures of the room that she was walled into. That'd be cool, but that's so long ago.
No.
Who knows what kind of shit went on after that? You know, I'm sure that the wars continued, and what maybe the Turks probably destroyed the castle at some point.
I mean,
you just
it's-
don't know.
It doesn't look like it goes past like the first floor here.
Right.
Just looking at it, like you got kind of the foundation. You can kind of walk around and stuff, but
Yeah.
not a whole lot there.
To wrap it up, she to this day, the reason it's such a big deal talking about her, and it's one of the most talked about she's on the Guinness Book of World Records right now as
Yep.
the most prolific female serial killer in America. Like
I think serial killer in
in
general.
world history, they have her at 600 plus.
Yeah.
Not 650, but 600. And you know, we've talked about it. I just don't.
What evidence do they have?
That ledger
What is it?
supposedly
Just the ledger?
that one peasant on trial said that she saw but didn't have. They did not recover any ledger with all the names or the number in it. It was literally one person's word
Wow.
on trial that had most likely been beaten by the crown to say such things. You know, so it's just I just don't buy it one bit. I'm sure she beat peasants to the point of murdering them. That was pretty much commonplace back then. I'm not defending Elizabeth Bathory by any means,
No.
but back then was a brutal time. Do I believe she did a lot of the sadistic? She might have. I would have liked to see more evidence. I would have liked to seen pictures, but I mean, obviously we can't.
Right. Maybe
You
some
know.
drawings.
More writings,
Maybe
more just fucking hard evidence. It's
Well, you're
so
just
much.
not going to get it, man, because history is written by the victor, and those people had nothing. I mean, everybody left had everything to gain by slandering her. So,
Yes,
you know,
that to me is the most damning part.
Yeah.
Is the end result. They got everything and she got nothing.
she
So
got nothing. Yeah.
yeah,
I mean, she got to live. I guess she got to live out the rest of her days
Miserably,
without being
stuck in a
horribly
room.
tortured, and I mean, as if being stuck in a room
Is
for the rest
fun.
of your life is not torture. That's kind of torture too. But I mean, I don't know. Her kids didn't get killed. You know, I mean, a lot of people's families got taken out and doing shit like this.
Right.
I mean, I think if she was just a noble woman, they'd probably take out her family.
Uh-huh.
You know, and if she wasn't royalty.
What do you think? Do you think she bathed in blood? Do you think that was bullshit?
I don't know. There's a lot of accounts that say she did. I don't think she sat in a clawfoot bathtub. You know what I'm saying?
They said that during trial, the testimonies, like that was one thing that kept reoccurring was
Yeah.
that she had an obsession with blood.
Again,
so that does seem
the
likely.
torturing testimonies.
Right.
So, you know, you take that's what's so damning about it. It's like, yeah, oh yeah, I guess we could take the word of 200 people, but it's like, oh wait, they were all tortured while they're, it's like, imagine if did the same person interrogate all of them?
Right.
If the same person interrogated all of them, then he's having them say whatever he wants them to say. Mm-hmm. I mean, come on.
And I haven't seen anything about them recovering anywhere near 600 bodies either. You'd think that would be one of the first things they would do is find out where all the bodies were taken and recover the bodies, or at least the skeletal remains, something.
Now, this did take place, supposedly, if she killed 600 plus, it took place over 30 years.
Yeah.
So.
But you think they would, near the end when she stopped taking them to the...
When she was throwing them out the window?
Yeah, when she's just dumping them all over her property and got lazy, you'd think they'd find a lot more. But, I mean, she was doing this torture supposedly at different castles, too. It wasn't just the one. You know, she had so many under her control that she was going from castle to castle, running things, telling,
absolutely.
keeping order by torturing and stuff a lot of times. So,
right.
I don't know.
You don't think she just enjoyed it? You think she was just looking for any reason? Like, what if nobody messed up for like a month? She'd just pick
find
somebody.
some infractions,
just pick somebody.
Like Band of Brothers. There are no infractions, sir. Find some. That type of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't like the way she looked at me. That type of thing.
Right.
What is she giggling about? Huh. Yeah, so that's Elizabeth Bathory. We hope you enjoyed it. Let us know. I'm sure we got some stuff wrong, but who knows, though? I mean,
we probably got a shit ton wrong.
Yeah, but everybody gets a lot of shit wrong with this one. It's too long ago. It's too many conflicting sources.
Right.
But it's fun in that sense.
It is.
It's fun to do ones like this because we do ones where there's so much information. We try to get the details right, where they're more recent, where you can get the facts right if you try. This one, it's just so hard.
It is.
We had to start from a baseline of just a menial understanding of the area and time period in general, like the terminology they used.
Yeah, if any of this does seem confusing, just go back and look at a little bit of that history right before her upbringing, like around the time of Vlad.
Right.
And Impaler. If you study that a little bit, it kind of becomes a little more clear. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the stuff that I read, I had to read it multiple times just to gather, because there's so many power shifts and things like that. We left a lot of that shit out because, just honestly, it's completely boring, in my opinion. Like, I don't think
because they're always fighting, and it's always like one group would take one part of land, and then the next week the other group would take the piece of land back.
Right.
And it was just infighting for little castles and spots on the map.
Right.
And the map was constantly changing.
New regions of territory and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
So new families fighting each other, and just even within the nobility, they were fighting each other at times. It was just everybody's just power grabbing constantly.
Right. I don't think in one take on a podcast we could explain it.
No.
Because it's like I said,
we're not smart enough anyway.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's the main reason we're not doing it.
Right. We just try to hit the main points and have fun with it. So we
right.
hope you enjoyed all the silly jokes and
thank you everyone who suggested it.
Yeah.
Because it was a fun one to study. And if you want to be entertained, go check out that movie I was telling you guys about.
Yeah.
It's highly inaccurate,
Yep.
but it's shot beautifully.
Right.
So there's that going for it.
Let's do some shout outs.
Let's do it.
I want to say what's up to MICHEAL Kaz. She hit us up on Snapchat this morning, and I told her I was going to give her a shout, and then she said, "Give yourselves a shout." So I was like,
Shout out to True Crime Guys.
Yeah.
So, no, not like that. Or?
Love those shitheads. Catherine and Cody, we missed them on the Patriot shout outs. We're sorry. We apologize. We're not giving you a shout out. What's up, Patreon people?
On a regular episode.
Catherine and Cody. It's all
And
good.
we'll give you another one.
We'll give you another one in the next
if we
Patreon
remember.
Because every Patreon member gets a shout out.
That's right.
Andrew Olinsky sent us a really cool email. A lot of kind words. We appreciate it.
Nice.
All the KC people for taking their beating from the 49ers this past week. Taking it like you guys took it like champs. We're sorry we had to do that to you.
It's preseason, Lord.
I don't care. I'm taking what I can get.
All right.
Taking what I can get. Sorry, Shannon. The closed Facebook group. I want to give everybody on the closed Facebook group a big shout. I don't have Facebook, so I can't respond to anything on there. I noticed that we had a message from someone on there that said if they don't respond, don't take it personally. We appreciate you saying that because that is the truth.
Yeah.
On the Facebook group, we go check it out. We look at what you guys say, but I can't respond. All I can do is view it.
Yeah.
Facebook's weird in that you have to actually have your own Facebook to be able to go in and log into your Facebook group and see what's going on.
Yeah, I wish I would have created True Crime Guys by itself just so I can delete my personal profile. Like, I'm so sick of it.
Yeah, Facebook is just so
But
much drama, right?
I love the true crime stuff on there, but I can't stand
We love all y'all on there. We view all your conversations on there and stuff. We think it's awesome. Thank you guys for
Or like
having
watching from the corner.
and spreading the group. Yeah, it's awesome. Big shout out to Esther over at Once Upon a Crime podcast. If you listen to her, if you listen to her latest episode, it was Sick and Murdered Chapter 2. There was a brief appearance from me with a terrible British accent / Australian accent, some kind of a weird morph. but that's what she wanted.
That's what-
She hit me up and she sent me a script and she said, "Read this in your shitty British accent, please, and send me the MP3." So
Lauren's like, that's the only way I know how.
yeah, hey, that's what you're getting. So yeah, so that was really cool to actually have even play a small role in her great show. So go check out Once Upon a Crime. Tell her we sent you. You guys just don't leave us because her show's better. So
Right. And she's way better at
we
facts.
can all be friends. It's great.
That's right.
She's definitely does way better research than us. Definitely dots her I's and crosses her T's more than us. But hey, every show's different.
That's right.
So thanks to Esther over there. Let's get to some quick iTunes reviews.
Hold on. I got some shout outs as well.
All right.
I want to give a shout out to my buddy Richard Justice back in North Carolina. Thanks for listening, dude. And also
Carolina.
Mel from Emerald Custom Signs made us some dope
amazing.
signs.
If you guys saw the live chat that Mike did last week from his house, that was a cool chat.
Check that out. Check that video out on Facebook. They're awesome. She's in Bakersfield, California.
Yeah.
She's got an Etsy shop. If you guys want to check it out, emeraldcustomsigns.etsy.com.
Boom.
And also Emerald Custom Signs on Instagram.
Boom. Check it out. She does great work.
She does.
Thank you for our signs. Get some iTunes reviews. In the past couple of weeks, we've gotten a bunch. We really appreciate it. It helps a lot. I want to thank Snow Penny, W. Kelsey, Brown Sugar Dream, Rob X11, Grundle Bunny, Joey Gash, awesome name, S'mores 1216, Pumpernickel Pickle, even better name, Bucks Run Mom.
Wait a second. Pumpernickel Pickle. I got to talk about their review for a second.
Okay.
Hold on.
And
phone's pulling it
Schlauberger
up.
while you're waiting.
Yeah, and Schlauberger. I think it's Pumpernickel Pickle. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just going to be honest. If you meant this review,
Genuinely?
if you meant this genuinely,
It's.
you warm my heart. But I feel like you're fucking with us.
I feel like it's sarcasm.
I feel like you are a little bit. It's too good. It's too good for us. No, really. Like I read this and I was like, I feel like they're gonna change this to 1 star like before long, or they're gonna like reach out to us. And
what
be
we're
like,
saying is we feel like you're honey dicking right now.
it's okay. Let me just read it. Okay.
You honey dicking?
It says, "Take a deep breath and begin. This is an outstanding investigative experience." I can't even say that with a straight face.
Where's Trump's voice? Wrong.
I have wrong. I have listened to every episode twice and loved it. The horrors of true crime have never had more attention to detail with as much well-researched journalism. I adore this podcast. Journalism?
We think we're entertaining.
Yeah.
We're not journalists by any stretch, and
I don't know. It's
Thank
really
you.
good.
We do
Thank
try.
you.
We
Thank you.
really
Yeah, if
do
you mean
try.
it, thank you so much.
We really do try, but we're not scholars. We don't have degrees.
And if you mean this, don't listen to any good true crime podcasts.
Yeah,
don't do it. I
definitely.
wouldn't recommend it.
Definitely don't do that. Stick to ours.
Yeah.
We're the best. We do the best research. Our journalism is on point.
Keep those blinders on and just keep on trucking. True crime guys style.
Right. Also, Minnesota Amber, she said, "Good for morbid people. It's a great balance between True Crime Garage and Last Podcast on the Left." I can see that a little bit. Not as good, but like
Not as good either
less
way.
serious than True Crime Garage and not as goofy as Last Podcast on the Left. Love both of those shows. They're both amazing.
Way amazing.
But if we're anywhere in that realm, then that's pretty awesome. We're doing some good stuff then. Classic Claire said that this podcast gives me the ability to listen in the car with my mom, who hates hearing me talk about crime. So we're happy to help out there. What's up, Claire's mom?
Yeah.
And Claire. TC Thompson, he said, way better than some of the so-called professionals out there who take themselves way too seriously. Looking at you, pretentious NPR voice podcasters.
Again, wrong.
No, that's actually, I think, right on point. Like,
What?
if we're good at anything, it's good at not taking ourselves too seriously, that's for sure.
That's true.
I can't stand people that try to have the radio voice. Like,
He was at the store and then he
Like you can
Why are
tell.
you talking like
if you were
in the-
talking to them in a conversation, they would not sound anything like that, right?
Exactly. It drives
Yeah.
me insane, dude. Just fucking be you, man. Just do you.
What would your radio voice be like?
You're gonna
if you
offend
were,
people on either side, no matter what you do. Some people are gonna love you, some people are gonna hate you. At least might as well be yourself.
Read the next review in your radio voice that you would do.
Meg's 11.
Why would you do that so nasally as shit?
Meg's 1122. This one made it to the top of my list when they compared Diaper Genie to a sausage of poop and selected it as the perfect hiding place for a murder weapon. Thank you. Thank you, Meg's 1122.
That's what you would do. You're going with like Larry King or something over here. I don't even know what the hell that is.
I look like Skeletor and I wear suspenders. Thank you.
You were like, things we got wrong.
Things we got wrong.
Mariel Donaldson said the FBI has changed the
I'm
definition
Tom Brokaw.
of a serial killer from 3 to only 2.
No.
You dumb fucks.
Don't ruin things we got wrong. This is a big segment.
That's right.
All right.
Let's play
welcome
the
to-
music first.
Fine.
And go.
Kick it. Things We Got Wrong, Volume 2. A few episodes back, the British one, what was his face?
Colchester murders?
Colchester Murders.
Yeah.
We talked about how he was working his way to serial killer status. He had killed 2 and he was working on his 3rd. Mariel Donaldson sent us an email and said that the FBI has officially changed their definition of a serial killer from 3 to 2, so technically he was a serial killer.
But did they change the definition before he killed?
I don't know when. Yeah, because that's a good point. That was 2012, right?
We're going to put an asterisk beside him.
I'm going to have to look it up. She sent us a link, so I'll look that up and get back to you on that. But apparently now, serial killer is only 2, and it says the serial murder is the unlawful killing of 2 or more victims by the same offender in separate events. So thank you, Marielle, for clearing that up for us. Storm usually has at least a few things to say to us after every episode about what we got wrong.
Yeah, but we got her down to 1
During
last
the
time, right?
during the Slender Man episode,
We're dominating.
she had a problem with the way that we said Waukesha, Wisconsin. It is not Waukesha, it's Waukesha.
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 I like Waukesha.
I don't know, Waukesha's pretty cool.
Things with me and Waukesha are getting pretty serious.
Oh, all right. Any other shouts?
Oh, wait, the sticker competition.
Sticker competition.
We forgot about the sticker competition.
We have a winner.
I
Chicken
counted
dinner.
all that shit the old
I don't know if
way
you've ever
by
heard of
writing them
this person. She's totally won shit from us in the past. She's a badass artist.
She has. She designed the caricatures in our Let's Go Do Cult Shit.
Yeah.
One of our Let's Go Do Cult Shit logos.
Basically, she's one of our coolest listeners. Really artsy,
Very
really
artsy.
creative. She sent in a bunch of submissions for this contest, and she got a bunch of votes on one particular that is now going to be on our shop.
Right. It's number 3, which is like the guy getting shot in the head and then the blood splatter coming out the back. Says True Crime Guys.
Oh, that's another correction, Michael. Things we got wrong. Blood spatter, not blood splatter. Sorry. Had to correct you.
Are you serious?
I've gotten a text from that before. So yeah.
Spatter?
Spatter is the technical
Spatter
term.
with no L.
Blood spatter is the technical term, not splatter.
So what's splatter mean?
Same shit.
This means the same. Means the goddamn same.
That's what I'm saying.
All right. So anything else?
Go check out our shop. We've got the new sticker called.
Yeah, let's go do Cult Shit.
stuff
That's on
in
like
there.
a lot of stuff, yeah. I
Yeah.
made it for more than stickers. But this design, we'll start off with stickers. And if we really like it, then maybe we'll move it to some other stuff. We'll see how it translates to other
Yep.
other merch.
Yeah. So if you want some gear, some True Crime Guys creeper gear, cult shit gear, check out our website, truecrimeguys.com. Go rate and review on iTunes, please. That would help a lot if you haven't done that
does.
yet.
It helps a
Even
ton.
if you just click 5 stars and you don't really want to write a review, you don't know what to say, just click 5 stars. That helps. Our email is truecrimeguys@gmail.com. If you got a suggestion for future topics, anything, hit us up.
Yep.
We're all over social media at True Crime Guys.